Let's talk about debug menus for mobile apps. Last short, I talked about compilation flags, which allows this menu to only show for debug builds, meaning when you distribute to the App Store, users won't see this in production. Some things you might want in a debug menu is some app information, like your build version, your bundle ID, anything you might want to copy and paste that you print often, like a user ID, anything like that, where it's just static information, that would go under app info. And those things are really good to have. The next one we're going to talk about is switching environment. So that's something we commonly do. We have a production environment, a staging, maybe a development. And what this allows you to do is hit different endpoints. For example, if you switch from production to staging, maybe your app code will switch off of that and use a different domain and be hitting your staging environment. So that's another very useful feature to add to a debug menu. The third thing I want to talk about is feature toggles. You want to enable verbose logging? Well, you just switch it on. So in your code, you might have a flag that you turn off and on to enable or disable verbose logging. So when you toggle this on, you would just set that flag to true. Another thing is using mock data. If you don't want to actually hit endpoints, maybe you have some kind of flag somewhere that determines whether or not you want to use mock data, and then you would just turn this on or off. The last thing I want to talk about is other tools. So viewing your debug logs. So if you turn on your debug logs, maybe it prints it to the console. There's also a bunch of other stuff that gets printed to the console. So maybe you add a prefix or something and print it out here. The last thing I want to talk about is buttons to reset user default settings. Commonly, we use a user default flag for whether or not we want to show the onboarding experience, and having a quick button to just reset it makes dev life a lot simpler. I hope you learned something today, and I will see you next time.